Welcome, Irish fans, to another packed edition of the Jack Swarbrick Show. On this week's show, we will sit down for an in-depth chat with another of the new members of Brian Kelly's Notre Dame football coaching staff, linebackers coach Clark Lee. The coach of the fourth-ranked Notre Dame men's lacrosse team, Kevin Corrigan, will take some time out of his busy early season schedule to visit with us today, along with the greatest male pole vaulter in Notre Dame history, Nate Richards. Our student-athlete co-host, Rachel Naslin, is on the road with the Irish softball team, but our show's namesake, Jack Swarbrick, is here and ready to lead the way. And Jack, lots of things going on, including for both basketball teams where the season's really starting to heat up.
Yeah, huge stretch run here for both teams, as you note. I mean, the guys have got themselves in a great position with some important games coming up. But that double bye would be nice, and they've got a shot at it. Of course, in this crazy league where everybody can beat everybody, you never know what's going to happen to the teams above or behind you, so you just got to try and take care of your own business.
Well, and they are in pretty good shape. It'll be tough. They got to win all three games. If they win all three games, they get it. So they know they control their own destiny from that perspective. And two home games to see a team that, again, Jack, they play really interesting basketball. And as the announcer, I sometimes measure it by how much I have to work to make the broadcast sound exciting. I rarely have to work, regardless of the score, with the style that this team plays. So I really hope people really come out and jam this building for their last two games, and they need the home court advantage. That first game Sunday night against Georgia Tech, they've proven that they can beat anybody in the league. Yeah,
that's right, and we'll be approaching senior nights for both, and in the case of Steve Astoria, such a remarkable young man who's contributed so much to this program, and so it'll be a good time to celebrate him.
I got a chance both to sit down with him and VJ Beecham from Fort Wayne this week to do their senior interviews for the television show. Steve's will run in the last show. VJ's this week. But, I mean, for both of them, you look at Steve, for example. I don't know if Coach called him baby-faced assassin first or if I did, but I picked it up. But now all the crowd does. But really, this is a guy who was a parade All-American. The Gatorade Pennsylvania Player of the Year that never got a lot of publicity, that always seemed to be below the radar to everybody except opposing coaches after he'd been here for about a year, who just seems to do whatever they need done on a given night. Even if he doesn't score a lot, when you look at the box score, he's got 3 steals, he's got a couple of blocks, he's got very low turnovers, a bunch of assists. I mean, when you talk about leader, he's a leader. I think he kind of stepped into the shoes vacated by Pat Connaughton and Jaron Grant right away.
Yeah, no, he has. And he just, there's no weakness in his game, which is what I love, right? He frequently gets the toughest defensive assignment. Sometimes he's bringing the ball up. He has a complete game, and that's the way Mike's built the program, guys like that. And I was going to go to VJ next as the other senior, and somebody who has so blossomed in the last 2 years here. To go from a guy who was a little uncertain to somebody who just is really in crunch time and big games wants to play that role. He wants the ball. His teammates want him to have it, and you love seeing him build to March again, right? Because obviously he had a spectacular March last year, and you can feel it building this year.
And he is, and I mentioned it to him because he took that final next step that he really needed to take. No one is harder on VJ Beecham than VJ Beecham, to the point where he would beat himself up mentally and it would have a negative impact on his game. And he went through that stretch of inconsistency after that opening winning streak when they won their first 5 conference games, where he had some low-scoring nights and he missed a lot of shots and he didn't want to talk to anybody, and it started to snowball a little bit. And he finally shook that off. Not only is he second leading scorer on the team, he's hit the 3rd most threes in the league, but his last 5 games he's averaging 18 points. And on the other end, he's blocked 11 shots in those 5 games. He's playing at the height of his game. As I said in the intro to his piece, he is finishing his career the way everybody wants to. He's playing the best basketball of his life, and he's really confident right now, and he's relaxed, and that's very important going into this next stretch.
No, it is. It is. Two big home games followed by a tough road assignment at Louisville, but as you say, put ourselves in a position where we can control our own destiny.
And you've already beaten Louisville once.
You have. It wasn't at the Yum Center, but
well,
it's a little different down there.
They've won a few times down there in recent years.
Have, and we always play Louisville well. I mean, those have been great games. Obviously, all the overtimes we've managed to accumulate with them over the years.
I think Notre Dame drives Rick Pitino crazy, and I have great respect for Rick. I've interviewed him a number of times over the years. He's always been terrific to me. His son's a graduate of the University of Notre Dame, but he says you can't scout these guys. You can't practice to defend them because they don't do anything continually. They react to you. So you can't tell your guys, if you do this, they do that, because they'll look at you and go, this time we're going to do that. Yeah. And he said that every time. We drive him crazy. So I think that's going to be – it's a hard way to finish. But, I mean, at worst, you play Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So, I mean, they've really put themselves in great position.
And the women have two very important home games. Thursday against Boston College, and
that's their senior night.
Going to use that as their senior night. And then on Sunday, a little bit of a doubleheader, separated by a few hours. But the women will have their regular season finale, and assuming that we take care of BC, a finale that's going to have huge significance for the Fighting Irish, because Florida State is highly ranked, number 8 in the country, and it's for the ACC regular season title, but also probably to further secure their place in the NCAA draw.
Well, and the NCAA taking a page from football, I think it's a great idea, revealing early in-season draws, and Notre Dame was back in one of those top seeds this week, where they should be. I mean, they lost a couple of games, about a month ago, and people scratched their heads. But I do think the parity in women's college basketball is starting to increase, I think, rapidly. It's getting better and better. And the ACC, just like the men, the best women's college basketball conference in the country.
Yeah, no question. A lot of great teams. But you're right. The chair of the women's selection committee said to me many years ago that the challenge with a 64-team tournament for the women was there probably weren't 64 teams that could be in it. That's really changing. I mean, I watched Baylor and Texas play the other night. What a great game! 2 great teams. Obviously, the ACC is full of great teams. Pac-12 has several. Stanford's playing very well again. So it is a difference. It really has evolved, and the game has continued to grow and develop. So, we got to be on our toes every night. And what I loved about the game at Syracuse was maybe for the first time in a while it looked like Muffet's offense. They were hitting on all cylinders offensively. Some great backdoor cuts, some great high-low action. And so I know she was encouraged by that.
And they really have to work to achieve that now, because they're one of the blue bloods. They always have that giant target. They get everybody's best game. They get everybody's extra effort on defense. So if they don't come with their full effort, they can't run their offense because people are banging them around.
No, they are. And we had a great weekend for the hockey team. Hockey's interesting, both in terms of positioning within the Hockey East tournament, but also it's a little different getting into the NCAA field in hockey. It's numerical. It's a mathematical formula, sort of a version of the RPI, and you know exactly where you stand all the time. And playing Providence, it was really important for us, and to get a victory the first night and then come back to secure that 1 point on Saturday night was really big for the team.
And I think there's a certain desire to leave the Hockey East portion era of Notre Dame hockey with a good taste. So it'll be very important to finish strong, I think.
Yeah, we draw maybe the hardest possible assignment for your last weekend. We're on the road at BU. But also, in this system that hockey uses, playing a very tough opponent at the end of the year can only help you, and has the potential to help us a lot and really cement us in that NCAA position. So it's important to the team for a host of reasons. But much like we were talking about the two basketball teams, they're playing their very best right now. They've looked good in a host of ways. You've got a goalie who's there every night for 80-some consecutive games now.
Defensive Player of the Week again this week.
Defensive Player of the Week again, who does a great job, and you know you got that going for you, and the offense is really starting to click.
In the minute or so we have left for this segment, how exciting is it for you for Notre Dame to be hosting the ACC Indoor Track and Field Championships? Yeah,
it's great. We in every sport where we get the opportunity to do that, we want to do it. because it is special for our student athletes and our coaches to be able to do that. They love bringing their peers to this campus and showing it off. And in a sport like track and field, you don't do that through head-to-head matches. It's only through something like this. So we're thrilled to do it.
Well, and we're thrilled that Clark Lee is here. He has entered the studio, so let's take our first time out. I'll vacate this seat and let you chat with Coach Lee.
I'm looking forward to it, and for our viewers, I'm sorry Rachel's not here. You and I are all they've got.
Well, it's not much to look at, but sometimes we're interesting to listen to.
We'll be back in a minute.